Hello and welcome to a tutorial by Gems and Junk. This tutorial will be on a simple wire wrapped loop that can be used to create drop earrings, pendants and other pieces of jewellery. I've just got an example here of the final product. So in this case it is in copper. I'll be making it in silver. But as you can see how the wire wrap loops there I've created to hold this bead, this rose quartz bead. So what you want to use is your flush cutters, round nose pliers, chain nose pliers, your piece of wire and a bead. So we'll get started with creating the first loop, and to do this we'll use our round nose pliers first, and we'll get around 1.5 inches down the top of the wire to create the loop. And what we'll need to do is bend this wire around about 90 degrees, as you can see, and we'll bend it around 90 degrees. And then once you've done that, you've got a bit of grip to move it all the way around so that the wire is now looped all the way back around. Now in some cases you can then use another pair of pliers to hold and wrap this piece around this piece of wire. However, in our case we'll just use our hands because you can still get a good grip even with the tip of your fingers. So we'll wrap just around twice. That usually holds it quite well, but you can do it around 3 times. You don't want to do it too many times because it's just not necessary really. So as you can see there, it's been wrapped around. But we have the little bit of excess wire, so this is where our flush cutters come into play. And we want to just snip off the edge there. Just get it positioned right and snip off. Just let that drop on the floor. Now, as you can see, there's a little bit of an edge that's left over, so what you want to ensure, especially when you're making jewellery, is that little edge is flattened down. So what we want to get is our chain nose pliers and flatten that edge in as best as we can. There we go. So that it will not poke into anyone's skin when they are wearing this. There we go. So there we have our first loop. You can adjust the loop as well because sometimes it does tend to be offset. As you can see, it's sort of like at an angle, but you can get your round nose pliers, put it through the loop and then just bend it to the one side, and there you go. You see it's a bit more straight now. So what we want to do now is get the other bead and wrap that on. Now, what you need to ensure that when you put a bead on like this is that, unlike the other one, you need to make sure that you have enough room at the bottom of the bead, just here, so that you can do your wrappings around. So to do that, we'll just ensure that our round nose pliers are there, and like before, we'll bend this on over, just like so, but this time we'll move the round nose pliers just upwards so that we have a wire to bend around, and as far as it'll go, and then again we'll bend this around the pliers so that it's similar to like before, but this time there's a bead there. So you have the loop, as you can see. And we'll do a similar process. Now, one thing though, before we do the wrapping on the bottom, is that if you're doing any linking, before you close the loop, if you do want to add another bead, like we have our example bead, you'll want to do it at this stage. So you thread on the bead, such like this, and then it's linked. For this example, I will not be doing this, but it's pretty permanent. So if you want to add any other beads, you need to do it at this stage. Otherwise, you're unlikely to get it on with it looking more permanent. But now we'll get on to doing the wrappings as we did last time. So we'll just grip the loop, and again with our hands, or with another pliers if you feel more comfortable with that, is just wrapping this round. Try not to destroy your camera if you happen to be recording like me. And wrap. And now sometimes the loop does bulge out a bit, but when you're wrapping with hand you'll notice that it does tighten itself quite well. And I'll probably just get one more there. It'll look a little bit odd at first, but you'll notice it fits right in quite snugly. There's quite a lot of power when you do this sort of pivoting motion with your hands. And as you can see, it's pretty flush to the bead there now. And we'll get our cutters and just snip away the excess. There we go. And once again, you'll want to get the edge of that bead flattened down as much as possible, so that there is no poking. And there we have it. 2 simple wire wrap loops with a bead. My next tutorial will likely be on tools and just explaining like the various tools that you can get. In my particular stock, I only have a few tools, such as the round nose pliers and the chain nose, but there is quite specialist tools, including one that does a very, very quick loop. So I may showcase that, but I won't actually have it on me because it costs a lot of money. If you have any questions or comments, please visit my website, gemsandjunk.com, and soon, hopefully, I'll be getting out some more tutorials. So thank you for visiting, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye.